What's going on, Comic Book Tribe? I am Molecular Maurice, and welcome to the Unmasked Comic. Today, I am proud to present the second issue of The Penguin, which is titled In Service, Returner to Help. Man, this comic right here, woo! Anyway, I'm just gonna get into it. On a cold, snowy day, out of the dark of night, Penguin exits a limo. As he is proceeding to walk to the front door of a mansion, thoughts are brewing from the owner of the mansion. The story starts off with a common debate about retirement. The age of debate is around 65 or 50. Some people work themselves to death, but not our narrator. It's him until about at 85. He gave up a lifetime, a career of killing. That's all he knew. He was indifferent about the work he did. But one thing it did do, it provided money in several different bank accounts. So, after being the best at his job for a whole lifespan, he retired, doing what he wanted to do for once, with a mansion and staff. The butler answers the door and went to the drawing room where his master was. The butler is off offended by Penguin's rancid odor. It's so strong he feels it lingering on him, all the way to the room where his master was sitting. He brings a message on a tray that had Penguin's signature, "Wok Wok," on it. The whole time the butler is hoping the master of the house does not smell the odor. Master, or Sir, we believe they call him Sir, tells them to set up the west wing of the dining room for him. Jonathan, who is the butler, asks what kind of preparation should they make for the Penguin. He basically tells them to cook him up raw squid, but as raw and as fresh as it is out the ocean. So they wind up inviting Penguin in, and the butler is just like offended by him, his smell, and he's afraid his master's gonna smell it on him and it stink up the whole house. But anyway, like I said, he comes in, they invite him to the west dining area. Now at the table eating is Sir and Penguin. Sir sits patiently across the table as the Penguin eats. Now I want to point out the master of the house, or Sir, is addressed as that during this whole issue. He's addressed as Sir. However, not really knowing all of Penguin's allies and enemies myself, I speculate this man in this issue is Bruno Tess, who has been a hired hand for Penguin in the past. As the two of them conversate, the butler is casting judgment on Penguin, unable to believe that such a disgusting man is occupying that chair. The butler recounts throughout the years how the most powerful and important of dignitaries have sat at that table in that chair he's in at the moment. Now for their house, now thinking to himself that their house and their table is now being defiled by the Penguin. So in this butler's mind, he's hoping at the end that Sir will disembowel Penguin, just take him off the face of the earth, because this is how putrid and disgusting he's reading him to be. As they're eating and dining, Penguin shares his current circumstances in Gotham, as it is not good. Some things he can admit he regrets, but feels he can regroup with the right alliances. Sir just bluntly lets him know, look man, you played your hand and you lost. You can't expect much sympathy from me, especially knowing this is Batman City. He does not want to hear Penguin's cries for help, encouraging him to just drink to the good times that they had and forget the rest. Just appreciate what is going on now. This is the hand that you've dealt. Penguin, though, is determined to take back what is his through violence, blood, and muscle. That is the only way he will get it, and his mind is made up. Now all he needs is Sir to help him to get that. Sir busts out in laughter at the fact that Penguin came all the way to his estate for him to tell him no. There is no way you came here for just this. If so, you wasted your time, Penguin. I guess you are the clown instead of the Joker. This is what Sir's saying to him. Penguin's face and tone change at the fact that he is laughing at him. The fact that he's humbly asking for help, but is being shut down in such a demeaning way. The Penguin, still eating his food, tells Sir this is not you. With that comment, he excuses himself from his own table. Sir does. Then sarcastically, he thanks Penguin for the insight about his character. Again, Penguin repeats, this is not you, but the master just politely tells him he's welcome to stay the night, and he invites him to go hunting in the morning, therefore making the trip not a total waste for him, just to give him something to at least be there for. So he's giving him a reason. The Sir's being considerate of that fact in his mind, you know. But Master tells him he knows he still knows that won't be enough for him, but hopefully he'll stay and he'll leave his footman to tend to him, and he'll see him in the morning. It seems like Sir, the master of the house, responses like are a direct no, without thought or consideration. He just roasts him, you know, because he had the audacity to ask him for help. So in his mind, Penguin's getting everything that he came for. He doesn't give two shits, you know. We truly know this man and his entire staff now. They look down on Penguin. The footman Ronald pours their guests another glass of wine. When Penguin asks about the staff, Ronald immediately answers that they have 28 staff members, but you know, they get by well enough with the numbers that they do have, but they could probably have more. The staff at this mansion, they seem rather proud of who they work for. And then all of a sudden, Penguin apologizes to Ronald as he tells him about how many staff members they have. And, you know, Ronald's confused at why he just said sorry. With another sip of wine, Penguin states that he needs his boss, and he tends to get what he wants. Now, the next day approaches, and we are now in the mind of Peter, his huntmaster. Peter's experience with this is thorough. He has mastered the trajectory of shooting fowl. This is what he does. However, in all the houses he has worked, this one particularly is different. For Sir never seems to miss a shot, which is almost like superhuman to Peter. In between the shot, Sir shares a memory when he had to teach the Queen's son how to shoot. After giving him specific details, the prince became arrogant, took the gun away from him, and almost shot his own foot off. This is the part right here that signals he was some type of servant in a past life. Sir finishes the comment as if, you know, that was many, many, many years ago. So he kind of at that point showed his age. As he says that he fires another shot, makes it, and then Peter praises him. Penguin gets the hint of what he's trying to tell him, but wants to say he thinks he is too old, right? Sir is like, Oswald, man, I am 92. What do you want? Until Penguin points the rifle at the back of his head. From the category of class they belong to, Sir is like, what are you doing? This is way beneath us. Penguin is not letting up. Like, you are nothing like your father. He was older than you now and was still in the game. All you need is some shotgun encouragement, still pointing the weapon at him. Sir is like, I am not about to make the same mistakes my father did, being hopelessly in his feels all the time. I'm not doing it. Penguin agrees that he won't probably be like his pop, but expresses he is still not acting like himself. Regardless of what you're saying, you are not being you, sir. And so after that, Penguin takes a shot right at his head. But sir, he dips it, which I thought was real impressive. Then he snatches the shotgun out of Penguin's hands. Like, look, you not liking my decisions is one thing, but the flaw in your character is your problem. You know, first you asked me politely. The second time you were violent. And at my own estate, come on, guy, like, you gonna take a shot at me? With the last remark, he crashes the butt of the weapon across his nose. Blood shoots out, knocking his hat off his head and sends him unconscious to the ground. Later, the in-house physician wonders how many times has Penguin actually broken his nose as he's fixing him up. He's thinking all these things, thus telling him he has to reset his nose. And he offers him some anesthesia. Penguin refuses and just goes all natural, right? The doctor silently amazed he still even has a nose at this point, because he's looking at him, he's fixing him. He can tell he broke it a number of times. And then Penguin doesn't want the anesthesia because there's something about that feeling to him. He needs to feel the realness of it. He needs to know that makes him like who he is, in a sense, you know, like he'd rather feel the pain than the anesthesia. He like, this is what he does. He's raw, you know. So to me, that's what he was saying when he did not want the anesthesia. So he gives Penguin a 3 count and cracks his nose back in place. How can one man break his nose so many times and not learn to keep his head down? This is what the doctor's thinking. But then again, he's like, am I really surprised looking at this sorry dude? These are the things the doctor is thinking after placing his nose right? Now, Penguin asked him if he was full-time there. Was he one of his 28, perhaps, that worked there? The doc makes a note to self that some people never learn. Like, why is he asking this? This dude doesn't quit. But, you know, he still answers the questions in his way, noting that Sir is an elderly man with medical needs. So, and he kind of explains his story. The doc's wife had passed away and he was retired, but he was retired and had no money. So, you know, him and Sir found each other, and now that like suits both of their needs. He's kind of like in a private practice / retirement getting paid, and now Sir can have an in-house physician. So it works for both of them. Now, the doctor is taken back as soon as he says that. Penguin lunges forward, wrapping his hands on his throat. He can't remove his fingers. The grip is tight. Penguin's like, shh. He's shushing him as the agony sets in deeper. The doc feels his ribs and lungs like fight against each other. They're tearing away inside. It's burning. It's painful so much that black spots start to appear in his vision because he's losing breath. And in those last moments, who was going to take care of Sir? That's what he's thinking in his head. In his last moments, he's thinking of who's going to take care of his master. Now, Penguin, at the end, he finally, you know, he's whispering for the doc. He's like, you know, let it go. Just telling him to stop fighting it. And he like kind of whispers in his ear that, look, man, your death was in service. You know, like that was some type of honor, that Penguin was killing him in service to his master. So he knew he took pride in him. So to him, it's like you're dying in honor of him, right? And that you were a lot more help than your boss was. So Penguin's choking the dude, killing him, but still respects him for going out for the cause that he needs. You know, it's twisted, man. It's really twisted, but that's what makes it interesting. In another part of the house, Sir is fencing with an opponent that is frustrated with him. You know, his opponent is world-renowned in every type of swordplay in his prime, but has never beaten this man who was probably born in like 1930. Even attacking him with his own team at one point in time left him waking in a hospital bed along with his teammates. This scene is humiliating for the fencer. At the same time, Sir is telling him that his 8-year-old Japanese female protege could probably beat him, knocking him to the ground, threatening to bring the girl so he can learn from her. Since he can't beat him, you know, he might as well send him to his protege. Now, another footman or butler comes in the room named Alexander, and you know, he's kind of hesitant. He doesn't want to interrupt Sir because, you know, he has a strict morning regimen. First the fencing, then he has like a 30-mile warm-up run, combat lessons, and probably some night activities like wrestling, such and so forth. Part of it in his head, he's being sarcastic, but one reason why he doesn't want to stop is, you know, Sir is a bona fide ultra mother effing G, you know, and he's, you know, he's 92 years old and he's beating the living daylights out of this dude, right? But Alexander finally, you know, tells him what he needed to tell him, and that was Oswald, the Penguin felt better, and they have made travel arrangements for him to go home. He really did not want to stop anything that Sir was doing for the Penguin. Like, everybody feels that Penguin has been a waste of this man's time. He's ignorant, he's disrespectful, he's got audacity. This is all the things that are going on in Alexander's head and the other staff too. And he's asking him, sir, do you want me? He's requesting to say his goodbyes to you in a proper way, but I could turn him away since you're busy. And Sir is like, no, we live by this gentleman code. I'll go personally and see him off so we can have a proper, farewell. Sir changes into dinner attire and he meets Penguin in the drawing room. He takes a sip of wine and Penguin makes a final offer of partnership. This time sweetening the pot with him getting 10% of all acquired profits. But Sir is still not budging. This life is behind him. He has been able to get through that life and can now enjoy his labored fruit. Especially in his twilight years, these are prime to him. He doesn't want to spend the remaining being a bruiser and a taker. Penguin utters, "This isn't you." But after hearing that comment for like the third time or fourth time, he tells Penguin, "You don't have a clue who I am, sir. You don't know me." Now, sitting in the chairs across from each other, Penguin reaches for his umbrella. They're sitting in these big wing chairs across from each other. Now, Penguin slowly reaches for his umbrella, and he says to Sir, "You'll be surprised at what I know." Then he points the umbrella at Alexander, and he blows the top right part of his head open like a toupee. Sir jumps forward in his chair, shocked, angry, and bewildered at Penguin's nerve. But Sir does not even finish his words. Dropping the glass to the floor, he starts murmuring like poison, in his mouth. He's stuttering like that. And his body locks up on him. Now frozen in the chair, the Penguin thanks him for breaking his nose, because this allowed him to get to the doctor for the ingredients to the poison, and also bribing his chef to place that concoction in Sir's wine. Wow. And as Sir fades into unconsciousness, so does Penguin's voice. Hearing the fading words of, he has a busy afternoon of things he does not want to do, but he promises to be there when Sir wakes from his slumber. Time passes and Sir slowly comes to, and he's, hearing the Penguin's voice, transmitting it clearer as he opens his eyes. The drugs are coming out of his system, and Penguin was there, just like he promised. Him and the dead bodies of Sir's staff. They lay by the fireplace, the chairs, and in the dark corners of the room. Sir screams at the disturbing display, purely shaken at what has happened. All his people are dead. Penguin rises from the chair, walks over to him, and asks him, does he even know how somebody like himself came in his house and did this? To one of the most proficient killers on the face of the earth? How did I do this to you, man? How could you, day after day, forget who you are and let these servants take care of you, exercise you, feed you, inform, entertain, and even defend you? They nursed you like a baby on a breast as you lounge in that nice leather chair, drinking brandy. Then you have the nerve to let them serve you? Raising the umbrella up, Penguin repeatedly hits him over his head, across his face, whack, 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 as he screams at him for forgetting his station in life. You can't be served if you are a servant, and you can't get help when you are the helper. In the rainy night, Penguin walks out as Sir holds his umbrella over him, opening the door to his limo, closing the door once he is in, closing the umbrella, then finally getting in the driver's seat, accepting a shift in his mentality to be useful or useless. He is unsure how accurate that is, but he has spent his life in service, And that is what he is meant to do. Even at his age, he has something left to give. Totally reversing his thought and who he was. Penguin put him in his place and totally altered his mind. This issue was insane. How he went into this man's house and then did all that and made him be the person he wanted to be. He cornered him in every aspect. He had no choice. And just to sit there in the end and for him to accept it, like, you ain't shit, I'm a servant, blew my mind. If you have not read this issue yet, I strongly encourage you to do it. I'm getting a lot of respect for the Penguin as a villain, how conniving he is, how he won't quit. He'll get what he wants by any means. Now I'm interested to see how everything left off with the interrogator. You know, when he left there, she placed her demands on him and he made him go back to work. He now made this butler go back to work, who I still believe is Bruno Tess. They haven't said his name yet. But anyway, I cannot wait for them to tie the first issue with the second issue. And one thing I really admire about this comic is how they're going into the thoughts of other people, how people's impression of him, how they view and how they see him. And most of the time, it's real, like, derogatory. Because let's face it, Penguin's like a little short, disgusting dude. He's evidently his hygiene ain't up to par, but he's got a lot of money and he knows how to make things happen. And nobody likes him. Everybody's thoughts of him are negative, except his girl that was in the first issue as well. Anyway, this was really fun to read. It was really fun to sit here and do my little review about it and tell you the story. Like I said, I suggest you read it. I am Molecular Maurice, the Unmasked Comic, where we do comics on the go, bro. Have a good day, Mighty Comic Book Tribe, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, baby. Comics on the go, bro.